Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I have this fun winter themed card. It would be good for Christmas or any other winter occasion. It's got touches of metallic. I'm not sure if that's showing up on camera or not, but this is so fun, so easy, beginner-friendly project, and it will take probably about 15 minutes. So grab your paints and let's get started. You can use any brand of paints you want. They don't have to be expensive. They don't even have to be artist or student quality. They can be your kids' watercolors. I'm going to start with a big round brush. This is a number 10 round, and I'm going to get some really kind of light brown or yellow ochre, just something that's really kind of pale, and you want it to be really juicy. And we are going to paint some little pine cones. I'm going to start with my biggest one here. I'm going to start at the top of the pine cone. I'm just going to make some little marks, like I'm doing the scales of the pine cone. See, it's just, we're just making dabs. That's all there is to it. And I want this paint juicy so that when I go and put in some of the shadow colors, they'll bleed together a little bit and look really nice. You can make your pine cone fatter or skinnier, however you like your pine cones to look. There's really no wrong way to go about it. So then if you might want to go right ahead and go into a darker brown at this point because you want to get some contrast, and if you are a slower painter, then you might want to do this right away just so your paint is still wet and you can put that darker shadows in there, just kind of in some of the spaces in between. I'm trying a different brown here, a darker brown, but you know what? I think I actually like the more like burnt sienna, redder brown, so I think I'm going to skip back to that because I think I prefer that one. I think it's a little bit warmer, yeah. But again, that's a great thing about these projects. You can adjust it with what you like best. You want to have a little bit of white peeking through here and there just to give you some structure. But for the most part, it's just dabs to make your pine cone. Now, if you're a fast painter, you can do all of that really light brown stuff all at once and then go in and do the dark. So that's what I'll do for the next two. We're going to do another one over here. I'll start at the tip again. I just think it's easier to start at the top and then get it fatter as I go rather than starting off with the fatter bottom and getting it smaller. It's just little dabs. It's just like curved dabs. It's all there is to it. And look, voila, pine cone. Can you believe it's that easy? It really is. I think a lot of times we make things out to be a lot more difficult than they actually are. And this one's a little tricky because I'm doing it upside down. But if you're an original fan of the Frugal Crafter channel, you probably remember before I learned how to edit videos, I used to actually have my camera on a tripod in front of me on the table facing down, so I would paint everything upside down. So let me know in the comments below if you remember those original Frugal Crafter videos where everything was painted upside down. I'm going to go back into my brown, and we're going to go through and add those shadows. Remember, let some of the white remain. Let some of that white peek through, give us highlight and structure. Man, that's just such a nice, easy way to do a pine cone. I could paint dozens of these. And honestly, I can make a hand-painted card so much faster than a stamped card. So if you're a stamper who's kind of like checking out this video because you're like, I'm curious about this painting thing, what is she up to? Honestly, it's quicker. I am going to go in with a little bit of that darker color since I used it in the first pine cone, and I think it's going to help tie these three together. Just don't overdo it. Less is definitely more with these. Now I'm going to switch to a smaller brush, and actually I really like those Artify brushes. I don't think their review's coming up pretty soon for them because they seem to hold a lot of paint. This is a number 6 round. The whole set of those is very affordable. I think it's like $13 for 12 brushes. I'm going to mix up a couple different colors of paint here. I got a sap green. I got a nice vivid phthalo green or verdine hue, and I'm going to do a nice dull olive green. And basically what I'm going to do is just vary. I'm just going to pick up a different color each time. Oh, goodness gracious. So that when I make my little pine, my little evergreen boughs, I will have a little bit of variety. So you just draw a line and then you just draw some like spindles off of it. I'm going to pick up some Viridian, maybe do another one right here. I'm going to switch my color, that's a little bit too... Throw in a little bit more over there. And we're just going to fill in with some of this. I have my metallic paints out there. I've sprayed them. These are the Paul Rubens metallic set of 24. I get asked a lot about these in the 48 set. The 48 set obviously has 24 more colors, but I grab that one more often. I have both of them, but I grab that one more often because it fits on my table so much more easier, and it's got such a lovely variety of colors that it's half the price because it's half the paint. But just something to think of. I know, like, we all want to get those bigger sets and have every available option, but sometimes the bigger sets are not the most convenient. Okay, we can fill in more as we go. I'm going to just put a few just little needles in there. Maybe use the Viridian for those. Nice and thick. You can also throw in, like, pine needles are more just kind of like a tassel than they are a bough. Okay, we'll probably put some more in, but let's get our berries in before we get too carried away. I'm just going to use some nice bright red. You can use a warm red or a cool red. This is probably a cadmium red, I would say. And oh, you know what? I'm going to put a little stem. Let me just grab where's my little liner brush? Right here. It doesn't have to be a liner, but I'm just going to grab that. Grab a liner, make some stems that we can put our berries on. I try to fill and balance throughout the page, so that's why I'm kind of putting my stems here and there. I want to get a nice variety. Now on the berries, you can have some fun, and we're going to put some metallic in on the berries. So when I paint the berries, I like to leave a little highlight of dry paper. You don't have to make the berries so big. It's up to you, really. You can make them big. You can make them small. Like on my original card, I did holly leaves, and I made my holly leaves little, which is not proportional, but I thought it looked really cute, and I was kind of in like a loose floral kick today. I've been just kind of like painting loads of loose floral cards just to see what looks good, and this was probably my 5th one, and the only one I thought deserved a video. Yeah, there were some, and I don't even call them stinkers. I would just say they're just not anything to write home about. They're cute. I would definitely, you know, give them as like a send them in the mail or whatnot, but they were not. Well, maybe they were something to write home about. I guess I would write home on one of those. I'd send that card to my to a relative or something, I guess. But I mean, they weren't anything to record a video on, I guess. But maybe I will. I'm going to do some more of them because I was having fun. I just thought, whoa, this one, I really like this one, and I think others would too, so I would do a video on it. To make a long story short, you know what, before I get too carried away, I'm going to add some other colors to this. I'm going to go with, I think I'll go with, first I'll just dab a little bit of crimson in some of these, just for a little bit of shadow. And honestly, just eyeball it. Use whatever you think looks good on the set of paints that you have. I think I'm a little more berry heavy on this one. I might not put holly leaves on this one because I'm really filling up the real estate here. Now And while the paint is still wet, I'm going to add some metallics, and I love to add the metallics into wet washes because then you get this really pretty color separating effect, and I just think it looks nice. Now you could do, if you just have a basic set of metallics, you could do some gold. I'll just pick up a little bit of gold here, gold or bronze. That's really pretty. Actually, I think I might like that better than the red metallic. And many watercolor sets, even budget sets, will have a gold or like a bronze that you could plop in there. Or if you have a more custom set, you can go with like a red. That's pretty too. You can alter it. You know, I mean, well, not alter it. You can vary it. You can have the gold on some and the red on some, and you know, you can flick some on there. It's just very, you know, you do whatever you want to do. You can even mix the color on your palette as well. Maybe you have some iridescent medium or some Pearl-X mica powder or some perfect pearls, but you don't have it as a watercolor. You could just scoop some out on your palette and mix it right in with your paint. I would do it on one of the mixing areas, not like in the well of paint, because you don't want to contaminate your paint, but you definitely could do that. And don't fret if your highlight is not in the exact same spot in each of these berries. The lights can reflect around, bounce around, hit differently. And don't fret in general, but don't fret if like your paint, you know, your circles aren't perfect, or you know, something looks a little wonky. It's actually a very popular look right now. You'll see that a lot in stationery. Loose watercolors are very popular in stationery. Very they look very loosey-goosey. And then like you could throw a stray berry here or there. It doesn't need to have a stem. When I painted the other one, I didn't tack it down. I did clip this one down because I did notice my card wanted to kind of pop open on me. So that's why I just kind of clipped this to a spare. What I do actually is when I finish up a pad of watercolor paper, I save the backing board because it's a lot sturdier than just regular old cardboard. And generally, if it was used for watercolor backing boards, it should be acid free. So even if you don't finish up the picture in one setting and you get clipped to it for a while, it shouldn't harm anything. I'm going to try some of this brighter red metallic, I think. Okay, another thing I like to do is some paint flicking. You want kind of a soft, juicy brush for that. I'm going to grab one of my Mimics. They have a longer bristle and they're just better. They're better brushes. They're more expensive, but man, oh man, they're good. I like to try things at different price points though, because I know not everybody has the same budgets or lives in the same country where they can find the same products. I like that. I think I'll do some gold and some green flicking as well. I like this shade of gold. It's almost like it's almost coppery. And let's do one of the green tones. I think I'll do this one because it looks really earthy and kind of natural. Now if you get some flicks where you don't want them, that's really an easy fix. You want a paper towel, and I will say a paper towel works better than a rag for this, but a rag will work. But just go in and dab where you want to remove any of the spatters. Like if you have a green flick on a berry and it just looks muddy, go ahead and just blot that off. Don't worry about being perfect. You don't want it to be perfect. You want it to look kind of, you want it to look natural. Now I want to do a few more tassels, I think, just to fill in a little bit. It's fun to drag them through the spatters, I think, too. I didn't want the holly leaves on this one. I was kind of on the fence on the other card whether I liked them or not, so I'm going to leave them off of this one. But I'll show you both of them side by side when we're done, so you can kind of see what you like. What you like better. I might have went a little too spatter heavy on this one, but I like it. And maybe I'll go back in and add just a little bit more of the brown on my little, towards the bottom especially of my pine cones, just to give them a little more definition. Less is more though, so just kind of, a lot of times these will look like such a hot mess when you're doing them, and then you want to walk away and come back. They will look so much better once you come back. I don't know what it is exactly, but they do look better when you come back. Let me give them a little bit of a stem down here. And that is all there is to it. If you're working with really granulating colors, like maybe you did the pine cones in a granulating brown, maybe you painted your leaves juicier or put some holly leaves in there, made it bigger, or maybe your reds you did, well, there aren't too many granulating reds, maybe use some potter's pink and some cadmium red or something, and you want to let that dry naturally, you totally can, and that would enhance the granulation. But since I really didn't use any granulating pigments or have any really big washes, I can go ahead and dry this with a heat tool, or at least dry some of the berries so you can kind of see the pretty metallic effect you get once it's dry. And then again, we'll look at the one that I did earlier. After things are dry, if you want to go in and you want to do some metallic accents, you can, and I'll show you that on the dry version. I just wanted to kind of show you, if you look at, see those berries with that gold on there? Hopefully you can see that. Hopefully the light's picking it up, but it's just such a pretty little glint of gold. And I'll just let that dry the rest of the way off camera. And then if I go in here, I might want to go in and add some accents. So what I would do is just, go ahead, grab my brush. Like I mentioned before, you want to spritz your palette with water before you begin. I like to spritz it about 5 minutes before I'm going to paint. And I can go in and just hit some of these with some gold. And you're not really going to notice it until like you're moving it and it catches the light. I could take some, let's see, I like this kind of more yellowy gold for the berries. Because I did the red metallic on the berries. I can go in and just kind of doodle some little bits on these berries with this yellowy gold. And I did put some veins on the holly leaves there just to, because they looked a little too plain Jane for me. But I hope you found this useful. It's a very quick project you can do in under 20 minutes. You can paint up a batch of these to send out to your friends and family this holiday, or get ready for next year, or just use them for any wintertime greetings. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, I would appreciate a thumbs up. Maybe share it with a friend who likes to paint. That would really help my channel, and I would really appreciate it. I will link to the products that I used in the video description in case you're curious about what I was using. And until next time, happy crafting!